Hello, 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 and today we are actually going to be doing something that happens often where I wasn't planning on making a video, but things happen, and today's one of those days. So long story short, my mother-in-law was driving. Apparently she was in the parking lot, and in order to avoid somebody in the lot, she swerved, hit a curbed the heck out of the rim. I'll put a picture in there, and lost all its air. The rim was pretty much toast. And my father-in-law took the rim in and got it repaired so it'll hold air. But then we realized it was rubbing against the fender. So obviously something else got bent, and it turned out to be the lower control arm. So today we are going to be replacing the lower control arm on a 2014 Jeep Patriot. All right, here we have the Jeep Patriot. As you can tell, this is where the rim got bent. Somebody bent it back into shape, but somewhat. I don't know what they did. It looks like they put glue on it or something. We're gonna replace this wheel regardless. But if you look over here, you see how close that is to the fender well, so to the inner liner. So that's the issue. The tire, there's a big gap in the front. You can tell when we come back here. That shouldn't be that far back. So if we look at the other side, there's a big gap in the back, which is not on this side. So that's what we're gonna be taking care of today. All right, I got the car lifted now. I ended up putting a jack to hold it up. I leave that there just as a safety, just in case for whatever reason. I mean, that jack, there's no way that's gonna fail. But that's the way I've got it set up. Put it on the ramps to get it up. That way I'll jack it up a little bit and I'll take the wheel off. And that way I can get some access to the control arm. So now I'm just gonna show you what the deal is. All right, so I wanted to show you where the damage was. If you look up here, this should not be anywhere near looking like that. This is, obviously you can see the kink here. That's supposed to be a pretty smooth curve. It comes up from up there, it comes along. So that should be a smooth curve. But if you look up here, that big kink, and this is also raised. If we go to the other side, get the lighting over here. This is what it's supposed to look like. Let's see. That curve is supposed to go up, and it's supposed to be straight. And you can see this gap right here. That gap's supposed to be the same all the way through. And if you look, it's straight here. And if you come to this other side, it's definitely not. Oh, sorry. When it comes up here, right here, that kink, that's not supposed to be there. So that's the lower control arm. That's what we're going to be replacing today. All right, so this is a 22 millimeter 7/8 bolt. There's a nut on the other side, so I'm going to have to grab a wrench in order to hold on to that nut up there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So I got this wrench here, 7/8. Let's set it on top. That's how it comes out. There's your nut. All right, so what I ended up doing, this is what the control arm looks like from the tire side. So right now I've removed the bolt down there, and I had an issue trying to get to this bolt. I had a hard time getting to it because of this plastic liner. So I just removed these these plastic tabs. That's what that tab looks like. This goes in the hole, and then that plastic tab, nail goes through there. Now I have this tool, which is awesome, and you can just grab, like let's say for this here, you can just grab, get the little nook underneath the lip here, and you can just pinch it, pull, and it'll pop that right out. It's a pretty handy tool to use, and it's pretty cheap and it works really well. But once I did that, I can actually go ahead and get to that nut. All right, so once I get that there, all right, so the other bolt that we're going to be removing is here, located at this ball joint, and that's the bolt that we're going to be removing right there. And it's the last bolt on this, and what it does is it sandwiches that ball joint in between there. So what you're going to have to do is remove that screw, and eventually, I guess with a screwdriver or something, kind of pry that open, or a chisel, in order to separate that so that this ball joint, and I'll show you on the new one, but I'm going to go ahead and try to remove that right now. All right, so this is what we just took out. We just took out that screw. Now there's going to be a gap right up there. That's what you want to spread, because there's a bolt that kind of goes up from the ball joint. It goes into there. That's really what you want to spread so that this can drop out. Oh, there it is working. Kids are playing. I was working on this last night, and I started banging on this thing. I just thought it was too much noise, so I kind of left it for today. But I am having an issue here. I ended up, removing that bolt, which is, it's supposed to, I guess, release the pressure off of the ball joint, the stem that comes up. And for the life of me, I can't. I've tried crowbar, everything. I got a fork, but I think the fork that I have is there's my fork. It's not wide enough to fit, to fit underneath there. So I'm gonna wait. I think my brother's gonna come in. He might have another fork, and we'll try to go from there. But everything else has been removed. I got the bolt from there. I mean, this is all loose. This, you can see, this is out pretty much. And the last step is just trying to get that ball joint out. So that's what I'm working on now, and I guess when I figure it out, I'll get back to the video. All right, so I ended up removing the ball joint from there. This is actually the new one in. I'm just lining it up. I put it in place, making sure that the holes line up. But what I ended up doing is using this mallet. I had to get a mallet. My brother actually came by. I didn't have one in the shop, in my garage here. So, pretty much we just had to keep banging away. Eventually that popped right out. So right now I'm trying to line this up. All right, so now I am just greasing up all the different contact points with some high temperature. It doesn't matter if it's high temperature, that's what I have right now. You can use some lithium grease or whatever you've got just to grease these up. All right, so I am, the lower control arm has been put in. Now I'm just tightening the bolts down. I have somebody else, father-in-law, helping out, holding the top nut while I wrench it down here. These are supposed to be to, I think, 135 pounds. I'm gonna hit it with the gun as hard as I can, and then I'm gonna use the torque wrench. With the knuckle, I was able to just hammer it in with a mallet in order to get it in there. And you can actually move the the calipers and all that around to line it up. All right, so we have everything installed. The bolts are where they're supposed to be. Now this is supposed to be, from what I've read online, obviously you look up your own specs, but 135 pounds torque. I'm going to use a torque wrench, and then that's supposed to be 135 up here also. And then the bolt that's over here is supposed to be 60 foot-pounds. Now I tightened that with the air wrench, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pinch that down because this gap needs to close up a little more. It's already closed up pretty good, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go and do that. All right, so everything's been tightened down, and we're gonna go ahead and put the wheel back on and tire back on and see how it goes. We're gonna need an alignment for this, but we're gonna have to take it somewhere to get alignment, but it hasn't been an easy project. Even getting that ball joint out was quite the hassle. Just without that sledgehammer or that mini hammer, whatever it's called, this thing. Without that, I couldn't have taken that off. So thanks to my brother Jason, he showed up and brought that with him, and we were able to get that off. And then lining everything up is a little bit of an issue, but it all worked out. So we can go ahead and put the wheel back on. All right, now we're just gonna start putting the everything back. With this, all you need is to put that back through there, and put them into the, line it up with the holes, and just get that back. Same thing with the other one. And then you just put the little fastener back in. It's hard to see. Sorry about that. I'm working at night here. All right, so it's been a long night. It took me a couple hours to get everything done. I mean, obviously I'm first time doing it, so I'm figuring out. But I just wanted to also take a video of the part number for what I ended up buying. I'll put a link in the description, and but that's what I got. It's a Moog, lower control arm. I'll put a link in the description so you know what you need. That's what the the old one looks like. And you can see how bent up it was. I mean, this is supposed to lay flat. There's a huge kink here. But this is what the old control arm kind of looked like. That was the ball joint that just took forever to get out. You can see it was all rusty, and that's kind of why, it was difficult to come out. But, so that's pretty much it. That's been replaced. That's the old one, and I drove the truck right now. I mean, the Patriot, it drives fine. The Patriot drives fine. There's no pole or anything, but we're still gonna take it in to get an alignment. I just wanna say thank you to everybody. I hope you enjoy this video. Hope it helps, help some people out. And if you like the video, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button. And I totally appreciate any comments that you might leave. It helps me out with YouTube also, getting my video promoted, and and like I said, I'll keep doing more videos for you, and I appreciate you all. Thank you. Y'all have a good day. Good night.